First thing is, my expertise is bite prevention, but it doesn't mean I've never been bit. Anybody else here been bit?
Not by a dog yet.
Who has not?
I have.
You have. You've not been bit?
No.
While working?
No.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We'll find out what your secret is. You haven't been bit. You've been here far too long.
I've been bitten once, and it just happened recently.
Oh.
That's pretty impressive. And you've had one. One.
Yeah.
All right. You know what, guys? It is normal. If you're working with animals, it's pretty hard to avoid. So whatever your secret is, whether it's don't handle the animals.
Just wait for Vivi to come.
That's right. I mean,
That works. That works. I mean, because in this place, of course, we're dealing with so many various personalities and issues and history that it's almost impossible not to get bit, but we're going to try and reduce that number today. There we go. Everybody gets 10. Including me.
yeah.
So,
You need 10?
my big thing around here has been trying to improve communication, whether it's through my paperwork, directly. It's trying to always improve that. That's where I feel our biggest disadvantage is. Because if we have had an experience with a dog, we don't necessarily pass that along really well. So communication, whether it's between us as staff and volunteers and the public, or whether it's between you and the animal, that's really what I'm going to be after right now. So how do you communicate? Remember VET. You don't have to necessarily take notes, but remember VET, your vet. All right? Vet means your voice, your eyes, your touch. That's your way of communicating with an animal. Voice. Generally the least reliable when it comes to our dogs that are here. Okay? Household phrases such as you want to go pee-pee, you got to go outside, when you're having to move a dog, when you're going to interact with the dog. Don't become all of a sudden a new person. Speak as you would with the average dog. Not do what you would with the average dog. Speak as you would. Those are the only phrases that are going to probably be heard by a new dog. So those common ones, like I said, the outside one is one of our best ones for handling a dog, getting them out of their cage. Eye contact. Here's a kind of a biggie when it comes to dogs. It has various meanings, and it depends on each relationship you have. So all of us would have a different reaction with the same action. That means me looking at you could be very different than me looking at you. One feels intimidated, one feels that you're watching me, and yet the other one could mean I'm acknowledging you because I think you're awesome. This is how eye contact actually changes with each individual dog. Okay, so relationship, status, and history is kind of what determines how that eye contact is going to be viewed. Now, it could be dominant, it could be submissive, like I said, it could be fearful, it could be intimidating. It has literally every emotion. Meaning, have you ever had where you've looked at the dog and all of a sudden they've kind of gone a little cold, a little dark, right? We'll get to his eye contact. Your eye contact can have the same thing, meaning you're all of a sudden like staring at a dog because you're not even looking at the dog, you're actually looking at the paperwork, and the dog sees it as you just staring at him. So you have to be aware of your eye contact and what it might be meaning to the animal. We'll get to what it means from his point of view in a minute. Okay, touch. This is from you to him. Touch is intrusive, bottom line, end of story. There are fewer dogs that are going to welcome your touch. Fast, jerky, suggests angry. Now, too often we're being careful and we might move a little quickly because it's safe for us, but you have to realize how the receiver's taking it, and he might be taking it as you're being angry. Okay. Slow and cautious. Men are the worst for this. Sorry. They are just creepy. You don't get it. I don't know, everyone must have been taught before I started teaching in elementary schools. You know, approach the dog, let him sniff your hand. Yeah, creep. You have to recognize how valid that intrusive kind of coming into their space. Remember, certain breeds actually hate space invaders. That's these people, right? So your touch, you've got to be careful. It's more of a welcoming in. Even though it's rude for a dog to come into your space, it's better if you take the attitude of the dog should be coming into your space. So if we're talking about fearful dogs, that's really important. We kind of want them to come in because this is going to creep them out. If we're talking about more dominant, more forceful dogs, letting them come in is now increasing their rudeness. So this is why things constantly change. There is no one standard rule. It's about trying to understand the whole rather than just a rule. So, natural, fluid movement. This is the one thing to remember the most. I'm picking on everybody at some point throughout the day. You've got to watch it. You're very good. You're being slow in a lot of cases. You offer that cookie, the dog goes, friend, not a problem. But you've got to be careful about your movement sometimes, because when it's too slow and cautious, that dog's going, what's wrong with you? You throw in just a little bit of natural movement with it, and the dog goes, okay. And they do relax. So be careful, because sometimes you'll be going into a dog to handle that does creep you out, and you don't even realize you're being slow and cautious. Some of us, told you I pick on everybody, some of us has more natural, slower, cautious movements. And because it's natural, you could be doing the exact same movement he's doing, but yours will be accepted because it's genuine. And that's a word I like to use a lot in dog handling and dog training, is genuine handling and respectful handling. All right, this is for newbies as much as it's for anyone who's had lots of experience with dogs. Try to get into the 3-second rule habit, which means you touch and you might release. Now, this is different from handling the dog and needing to do things, but if, let's say, you're vaccinating and you're going to touch, don't just repetitively touch. This is where you start to overwhelm a lot of dogs, because your touch is intrusive no matter how we slice it. So, 3-second rule, hands on, hands off for a moment, hands back on. Many dog bites have happened once the hand removes. So this is in shelter work, this is in the public, where what I hear said most is, the kid was patting him for like 20 minutes, everything was okay, and then all of a sudden, he bit him. Yeah, all of a sudden the dog finally had the escape, the opportunity. The kid released his hand and the dog said, "You're not touching me again!" So remember, 3-second rule. It's kind of like just in the back of your brain, it should always be there. You should be able to hands on, hands off. Just see how they respond when you remove your hand. If they're like trying to hightail it out of there, then you recognize he is being way more affected by your handling than you might have thought. Okay?